The wasteland did not forgive mistakes. It swallowed them whole. The sun had been hanging above the cracked earth for hours, a white, hot eye staring down at a man who should have died days ago. His name no longer mattered here. Names belonged to cities, to records, to lives that still had witnesses. Out here, survival stripped identity down to breath, thirst, and will. He stumbled forward, boots torn, lips split and bleeding, his shadow stretching long and thin like something already half gone. The wind whispered through dead grass and broken stones, carrying the smell of dust and old fire. Every step felt borrowed. Every heartbeat felt like it belonged to someone else. He collapsed, not dramatically, not heroically. His knees simply failed him, and the world tilted sideways before going black. That should have been the end. But death, it seemed, had been told to wait. When his eyes opened again, the first thing he saw was not sky, but a woman. She stood between him and the sun, her shadow falling over his face like a shelter he did not deserve. She was tall, broad-shouldered, her posture unbent by age or hardship. Silver threaded through her long black hair, which was braided with bone and turquoise. Her face was carved by years of command, not cruelty, deep lines of thought, not bitterness. Her eyes were dark, watching, measuring. She did not speak immediately. She knelt, pressed 2 fingers gently to his neck, then to his chest, feeling the stubborn rhythm of a heart that refused to surrender. Her touch was firm, practiced, not tender, but not unkind either. "You are not finished," she said finally, her voice low, steady, carrying the authority of someone accustomed to being obeyed. He tried to speak. Nothing came out but dust and pain. She rose and turned, lifting 2 fingers to her lips. From the distance came a response, soft footfalls, controlled, silent. Shapes emerged from the heat haze, men and women moving like they belonged to the land itself, not intruders upon it. Apache. Not the Hollywood ghosts people imagined, but living descendants, grounded, alert, real. The woman gestured once. They lifted him carefully, placed him on a woven stretcher, and turned away from the wasteland that should have claimed him. He drifted in and out of consciousness as they traveled. Sometimes he heard chanting, low, rhythmic, like a heartbeat carried by many voices. Sometimes he smelled sage and smoke. Water touched his lips more than once, carefully rationed, as if his life was an investment being protected. When he finally woke fully, it was night. Stars filled the sky in numbers he had never seen before, unbroken by city glow. A fire crackled nearby. Shadows danced across canvas and wood. He lay wrapped in blankets, his body aching but no longer screaming. The woman sat across from him. Now that the firelight touched her face, he could see the weight she carried, not just years, but decisions, losses, victories, responsibility. "You crossed into land that does not belong to you," she said. "I didn't know," he whispered. She nodded once. "Most do not." He swallowed. "Why didn't you leave me?" Her gaze sharpened, like a blade being tested. "Because the land did not ask for your death," she replied. "And because I was sent to find you." That made him sit up despite the pain. Sent. She reached into a leather pouch and withdrew a small object. A carved stone marked with ancient symbols. "This was given to me when I was a girl," she said. "I was told I would know when the time came, that I would find a man not of our blood, broken by the world, still carrying fire in his spirit." She looked directly at him. "I was told he would help shape what comes after me." The fire popped loudly, sending sparks into the sky. He laughed weakly, thinking it madness. "You've got the wrong man." She did not smile. "I have never been wrong." Days passed. His strength returned slowly, guided by careful hands and bitter herbal teas. He learned her name, Nantai, a matriarch not by inheritance alone, but by earned authority. She led not through fear, but certainty. The people listened when she spoke. They waited when she paused. They trusted her silences. He learned their ways, not secrets, but rhythms. Work at dawn, stories at night, respect for land, for elders, for choice. And he learned why she had found him. Nantai had lost sons to war, to sickness, to the slow erosion of a world that demanded her people vanish quietly. Her daughters led, hunted, taught, but the bloodline she carried, the one bound to certain traditions and responsibilities, was thinning. Our future cannot survive on memory alone, she told him one evening as they watched the fire. It must walk forward, he stiffened. You want me to replace someone? She turned to him sharply. No, I want you to choose. She explained it plainly. There would be no chains, no coercion. He would be free to leave when healed. But if he stayed, if he accepted, he would not be taking anything. He would be giving a name remembered, a legacy protected, a bridge between worlds that refused to understand each other. You would not be my possession, she said. You would be a pillar. Silence stretched between them. In the distance, a coyote howled. He realized something then. He had never been asked to matter before. Not like this. Not without force or transaction. For what it's worth, he said quietly, I don't believe in destiny. Nantai allowed herself the smallest smile. Good, she said. Destiny believes in you. As dawn broke, painting the land in gold and fire, he stood at the edge of the camp, looking out toward the endless horizon. The wasteland that nearly killed him lay out there still. But behind him stood something older than fear, stronger than survival, the morning. He chose to stay, did not arrive with thunder or ceremony. It came quietly, with frost still clinging to the grass and the camp breathing in slow, collective rhythm, and he understood then that true turning points rarely announce themselves. They wait to be recognized. He stood before Nantai as the first light slid across the land, and he spoke not with promises, but with truth, telling her he did not know how to be what she asked, only that he would learn. And that learning, she said, was the highest form of respect. From that day forward, the camp changed in ways no one could immediately name. Not because he imposed anything, but because he listened to the elders when they spoke of storms, remembered only in scars on the land, listened to the hunters who read tracks like living sentences, listened to the children, whose laughter carried questions about a future they had been told not to expect. Nantai did not elevate him above others. She placed him among them, and that placement, earned through humility, through work done without audience, made his presence acceptable, then trusted, then necessary. Seasons passed, and with them came challenges. Officials who arrived with maps that did not see people, droughts that tested patience, old wounds reopened by careless words. And through it all he learned that leadership was not about standing in front, but standing firm when others needed rest. When the first child of the new generation was born under a sky torn with stars, Nantai did not speak of prophecy. She simply placed the infant in his arms and said, "Remember this weight," and he did, not as burden but as purpose. Years later, when Nantai's voice grew softer and her steps slower, she called him to the fire one last time and told him that bloodlines were not strengthened by blood alone, but by choice renewed every day. And when she passed, the people mourned not with despair, but with steadiness, because what she had built did not leave with her breath. Long after the world beyond the land changed again and again, stories remained of a man found in dust who chose to rise into responsibility, of a matriarch who trusted the future more than fear, of a people who refused to disappear quietly, and those stories were not told to glorify him, but to remind each new generation that belonging is not taken. It is earned, and legacy is not inherited, it is protected. And so the bloodline continued, not frozen in the past, not diluted by the present, but alive, walking forward, carrying memory like a flame that does not burn the hand that holds it.